In this tutorial, we're continuing to talk about our Tower of Hanoi app. And in the last video, we were in the first move function. So let's just go back to that. And I noticed two problems with the code here, which is this line of code right here. So actually, when we're selecting which div we're going to work on, we have this dis right here, and then we concatenate on the disk order, and then we pass it animate count -1, which is the current move we're on. So basically, this is going to be 0 the first time. So our disk order array is 0 index. It starts at 0, so we just do the move count, which is 1, -1, which is 0, which is going to give us the first element of this disk order or the first move. But what you'll see here is this line of code right here, and this is what I was using before to pass onto this to create this part of the string. But once I started storing all of the data into those 3 arrays that we talked about in the last video, this doesn't matter anymore. This is useless. So we can just delete this, and there's no sense in keeping that in the code when it doesn't do anything. That's the first thing. And then the second thing, sort of a small problem right here, which is in the future we might want to have this program work for 4, 5, or 6 disks, and we're passing in the number of disks right here. So there's no sense in this this number right here being 3, because we could change this in the future. So it's much better that this is dynamic. So we'll just change that to whatever, we're deciding the amount of disks here, and then we're passing that in. So this will be calculated dynamically. So once we get to the bottom of our first move callback function here, then we're going to call this second move right here. And second move, we're passing it basically the move number, okay, which is 1. And actually, I didn't need to pass this in here because remember, our animate_count is a global variable which is accessible inside all of these functions. So functions in JavaScript, what scope does this second move have? Well, the scope that it has is the scope that it had when the function was declared. So you can see that this function was declared inside this document ready scope. And inside document ready we have this variable right here, animate count, okay, which is also a global variable because we didn't declare it with the var keyword. So the second move function could have got it from there, but I just thought I would put it there just for now, and just sort of makes it clear that the second move needs the move number. But maybe I'll just delete this next time because it's not really necessary. But anyway, so second move, it gets the move number, whether it's getting it from the first move function or from the global scope. And we're setting this variable left value to well, it's getting the move number, okay, which is move number -1. So this is going to be 0 the first time. And then move to, okay, so where are we going to? This is the destination post, okay. Move to, and then it's taking a 0 the first time. We could even put that here. It will be 0 first time. And then that is being put, so this is going to, basically all of this is going to be 0 right here, and this is going to be, move to is, so we're passing the 0 to this move to array. Now the move to array, actually, we can open up Firefox and we can inspect here. I don't know why I haven't done this already, but if we go over to console and then click all, and let's just refresh right here, and we'll see our object here, okay, because I console logged this in the last part of my program right here, this localhost variable. So we can take a look at that. And if we open up this here, you'll be able to see the data that I'm talking about. So we have this move to array, which is, of course, it has 7 elements in it, and this is the post that it's going to 2, 1, 0, whatever post it's going to. And then we have the move from array, which is also 6 elements. And this is the post that it's coming from. And then we have disk order, which is the disk that we're talking about. So 0, 1, and 2. And the reason we need this disk order is for the HTML that we talked about. 0, 1, 2, because we need to concatenate that onto our jQuery selector so that we select the right disk. So if we go back to the code right here, let's open our JS file and go to second move. And yeah, so move number -1, this is going to be 0 the first time. And so we're passing it move to sub 0, and we can see that move to right here, sub 0, that's going to be 2 the first time. Okay, and then that is inside this column position 1. So we do sub 2 to column position, and then if we go up to the top right here, we'll see that column position sub 2 is this 378 right here. Okay, so this lets us know how far to the right we should go. If column position 2, if this is sub 2, then we're going to animate this 378 pixels to the right and 245 for 1 and so on. So basically this is the left value. Let's go over to Chrome for a second, and I just want to just explain this in case anyone's not clear about it. So let's open this up and let's pull these up here. So if we select the disk, you'll see that right here they have a bottom value and a left value, and you can see this in this game it's already been finished and the left has been animated to 378. So we can change this, and this is how things get animated in jQuery. It's using the left value. Well, there's other ways to do it, but the way I usually do it is using absolute positioning and by adjusting these values. And then I could also adjust the bottom, and that's going to send it up and down. So that's what that's basically all this column position has to do with, is determining where they go to. So let's go back down to the second move, and the next thing we're doing is disk, and I believe this is exactly the same as in the first move. So what disk are we working on? Obviously this is not going to change whether it's going up or left or right. That's the same, and left is set to the left value. This is being calculated dynamically here, and the speed is 500, swing, and all that's the same. And inside the callback function for the second move, we are running this function right here, which is getDistanceDown, and we're passing it the move number. Okay, so the reason why we need to do this is before we go to the third move, well, we have to know for the third move, which is dropping down. If we go back to the browser, the amount that it drops down is going to be different each time depending on how many disks we have at any given time. So we first need to calculate the amount that the disk is supposed to get down inside second move, and then we're going to give that information to the third move. And whatever is returned from this, we're going to store it in that distance down. And then when we call third move, we're going to pass it distance down. So let's go over to that getDistanceDown function, and here it is right here. It takes the move number, and then creating this variable move from is set to the move from and whatever the move number is. So the first time this will be 0, and pressing 0 to move from, and then we're storing that here in this local variable. The same thing with move to, and here is where we do the logic for how far it should go down. So if move from is equal to 0, then what we need to do is we need to decrement the localhost.columns length. So this, localhost.columns is basically what this means is, okay, let's make a comment right here. Localhost columns, oopsie, okay, sub, whatever that is, okay, this is the amount of disks, okay, on the poll. And you'll see that in the beginning, when we did the calculate all moves, well, we set this first column to the amount of disks, right? Because we always know that the first poll is going to start off with the amount of disks in the game. So we're setting that variable there. So in the beginning, obviously this is an array of 3 posts. So when the game starts, it's going to be 3, 0, and 0. Okay, so that's what we're doing inside that logic there. We're going to update this, so we might like decrement 1 here, and then increment 1 there, and then decrement this, and then like this, depending on where it's going. And in the end, once the game is finished, this will be like this, 0, 0, 3, because all the disks have gone to that destination poll. So let's delete that right there, and that's what that logic is doing right there. And just inside, we're inside this getDistanceDown. So if it's moving from is set to 0, then this first column, we need to take away 1 disk from it. Okay, and if it's 1, then we take away 1 from that one. Okay, so in the beginning, like on the very first move, like I said, it's 3, 0, 0, 0, and then this is going to evaluate true the first time, so this is going to get changed to 2 right here. Okay, and what this logic is doing down here is move 2. Well, right now we have this, but after this move 2 gets, once it gets calculated, we know that move 2, we know it's going to this one. So then localhost column sub 2, we're adding 1. So this is going to become like that. Okay, so this is going to be the results of the first iteration. And that's what that logic does right there. And then, so remember the point of this function was we needed to return the distance down. So we do that down here. We return 0 plus, we go localhost columns move 2 minus 1. Okay, so move 2 is where it's going, passing it to the columns. And then we have to subtract 1 because remember, like these, like if something has 3 disks on it, like it's a 3 here, but because our columns array, because it's an array, this goes 0, 1, 2. So we have the off by 1 error. We subtract 1, so 3 becomes 2 here, and 2 becomes 1, and so on. And then we multiply that by our constant, which is the disk height. And the disk height we can see is up here. It's 20 pixels. So what we're going to get from all of this is we're going to get the integer, and then we concatenate on px. And anytime in JavaScript when we take a number and we concatenate it with a string, then the result is a string, which we want in this case. So this gets returned to second move. So then distance down is now set. Okay, this is set to a string, set to the string that we want, and then we run third move, and then we pass it distance down. Just like I said before, we didn't need to put move number here because this is a global variable, but we need to pass it the distance down. This one's important. So what we can do is we can go over to the third move function, which we're invoking right here, and it's taking move number and distance down, and this part is exactly the same as in second move and first move, selecting the same disk, and now we need to animate it to bottom to distance down. Okay, so you can see why this is important now. Speed is set to 500 and swing, and then in our callback function, you know, in order to avoid this being an infinite loop of going first, second, third, and then back to first, we do an if check right here. So if the animate count is less than move2.length, okay, which is basically the amount of moves in our game, which we calculated in the beginning. If it's less than this, then we're going to invoke the first move, okay? But you know, this animate.count it's going to be, well, yeah, so this move2length is 7, right? So as long as this is less than 7, then we're going to run the first move. And once this evaluates to false, which is we've already done all of the 7 moves, then basically everything gets returned to the set timeout first move. This is finished. And then we console log window.localhost just for debugging purposes. And then the program's over.